on the desk with, in my opinion, a couple more handsome guys. And that's because the match is about to go live. Folks, it's the ESL Pro League, and I'm excited to begin and kick it off with Team Liquid and Team Cloud9. We've got all the problems fixed out here, Harry, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm actually deafening myself, so I'm just going to go to turn this down. Connor, I'm looking forward to this. It's been a while since I've seen NA Pro League, man. I did this last season, obviously. I was a massive fan. And, you know, now we're back into this one. I just wanted to stick around, cover some more CS today. And in a way, maybe I'm glad that Natu's feeling a little under the weather.
Oh, are you telling me that you wish ill on Natu?
I don't wish ill, but I'm also saying that I maybe could have been the cause.
That's true. You're making the most of a bad situation, and I appreciate it.
You know, but let's take a look at this round. Already, Taco's going to be off to a good start, Connor. He's dropped Flusher, and there's no response in from Cloud9. It does feel weird saying Flusher on Cloud9. Still not entirely used to seeing that yet, I'll be honest. Yeah,
it took me some time too. And also, Harry, take every single one of these maps with Cloud9 with an extra little bit of care, because for all you know, at any moment, this could be Skadoodle's last match. Right?
Yeah,
Cloud9 still actively looking for that replacement. We saw them yesterday fall twice to Luminosity, who's currently the bottom-ranked team in the league, or was prior to those 2 map wins. But now it's Taco to try and continue that success, and he did nothing further. It's already the CTs trying to envelop B, but the bomb's been planted regardless. And they've got a light edge, 4 versus 3, but Automatic at any moment could strike the 2 and mark it.
Yeah, he almost certainly could. He's gone aggressive here, might catch a good timing, but instead all he's going to do is take one to the dome. Naf going to be in with the response as well, and suddenly Rush over here on the bench. He's going to get dropped courtesy of your man Twist. Coming into that round with 2 kills to his name, 2 for Naf, and obviously with that belter of a shot from Taco initially. Liquid going to be moving 1-0 up as they find themselves the pistol. I'm curious, Connor, what's been happening with the meta over here at NA in terms of this second round now that those changes have came in?
I mean, you know, I think it's based on a team-to-team basis. I think that some of the confident teams, like Liquid most notably, have been going into the regular force buy if they lose a pistol, making the most of it with those extra utilities and giving us some nice round 2 executions. But then you've got also teams like, I'd say, E United, who are trying to get back into like the most textbook of CS. So they just use those opportunities to get the round 3 buys and make sure that, of course, they have as many gun rounds as possible. So it's team dependent, but we have seen some wild things as well. Cloud9 was trying to pull out some wonky decisions yesterday, getting 2 MP9s and 3 USPs. But do you remember that version of Flusher?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen that version of Flusher, but yeah, I mean, I've certainly missed watching him play on Fnatic as well. Nitro does manage to pick off Rush down here at mid at least, so he's able to go ahead and start to regain a bit of ground for Team Liquid. We're back into a 4-on-4. The odds pretty even now. And these Deagles still out. That's going to be pretty terrifying. That's, of course, on the back of that bomb going down. You can afford to buy into round number 3 regardless, so they've gone for a bit of an extra investment in that sense. I'm curious to see if it pans out for them. Now, Taco's over here towards B. He's got that silenced MP5, and alongside him, he's going to have Nitro, who's already been tagged up earlier on. So this B bomb site looks a little bit tempting, but Cloud9, they want none of it. They're going back through T-Spawn over here towards A, where they will be running in to Naf and Twists.
Yeah, much easier position and split to make when that 6-player Automatic isn't actually in the underpass, but instead above up on Catwalk. If you can lock down ladder room, then it just kind of plays as the thorn in the side of window players, middle, and connector even. So instead of sticking around, he's just going to try to join forces, make the most of these minimal pistols, and so far, they're coming up empty-handed. But with Flusha getting himself another Deeg, Scott does manage to get the bomb activated, and that's going to be a bit of bonus cash here, despite Cloud9 picking up a second.
Yeah, Team Liquid going to be grabbing the defuse there and managed to keep 3 players alive. Flusher, seen some early signs of life from him. I haven't got to watch him in Cloud9 just yet. So I am excited to see this. I guess for me, this is my first game watching him play. You know, I have a lot of respect as well for Skadoodle. Second time retiring. Second time still playing in the Cloud9 games after retiring. So only time will tell, does he actually go through on it second time around. But Cloud9 have gone for this buy here. They've got rifles across the board. Automatic going to be donning the AWP over Skadoodle.
Yeah, that's something that you wouldn't have known if you hadn't kept your eyes on Cloud9 lately. He has not been given the AWP at all. The role has actually been floating between Flusha and Automatic normally, that AWP. So don't expect Scott to even get his paws on it. Unfortunately, of course. You know, it's a little reminiscent, a little nostalgic at times. But it is Liquid yet again with a man advantage. So going back to what we saw in the pistol, where they get an early kill, except Nafly is going to extend that advantage very swiftly. And already now Automatic's been spotted. They know the ops at the top of mid. Flusha burned out into the open where Twists will take him. So wow, this could be a convincing first gun round to the favor of Liquid. They're now starting to retreat. They want to minimize those losses, because if they can keep 5 up versus the none of Cloud9, that's a fantastic 3-round beginning.
Yeah, and it's also the chance to upgrade some of these SMGs, that FAMAS on Elige, onto these AKs. You know, you're going to be building a very, very strong buy, even though you came into this with you know, a weaker one in comparison to that Cloud9. Taco even going to come hunting here in through the lower tunnel. Skadoodle is going to spot him out at the very least, but he's been tagged up with damage now, finds himself trapped, and Automatic is going to go ahead and land the shot to Elige, not once, but twice. So that's always well and good. He does bail out Skadoodle down here in mid for the time being. They're trying to carve a path back into this round. Sadly, it's all been torn apart because of that, because of now finding that frag onto Skadoodle down in mid. And now 15 seconds left. Automatic is going to look to save over here in the Palace.
Yeah, poor Automatic. I mean, there was still something to make of this round if Ska gets away. Pulling it back into the 3-player standing of Liquid does, of course, chip into some of that cash. We talked about replacing those SMGs and FAMAS with the AKs of Cloud9. Well, they're going to have to reinvest their own money in order to get said upgrades now. So it's going to chip at the cash. Cost something rather than nothing. And Cloud9, hey, they have an op. Let's see if Automatic can just be let loose to do something bewildering, right? He has no round loss bonus, so he spends back his $200, gets a flashbang, and the rest of the team buy around him. Look how little utility there is, though, for Cloud9 to work with. Just those 3 smokes, and one of which has already been thrown out. Automatic on the forefront, and an AWP that could be trained inwards onto the B site. Be careful, Taco. You don't want to lose your head early on.
Well, he actually does, Connor. You're the bearer of bad news for Taco. Now, Naf also trying to step up and stand in the way of Cloud9. It's a tall order. Naf trying to rise to the occasion. Here's Elige going to be sporting the AUG. He's actually going to get bested almost immediately by Golden, and it's a convincing B bomb site take from Cloud9. They managed to keep 3 players up as well. Automatic finding 2 with that AWP. And on the back of it, you kind of get an understanding of how close the last few rounds have been, including the one prior where it was, what, a 5v2 at one point in time.
Yeah.
You only end up with 3 players surviving in the very end. And so as a result, the buy here becomes a dubious prospect for Team Liquid.
Right, exactly. We just talked about it, how they needed to reinvest those 2. If all 5 of those men stay up for Team Liquid, then they're going to be sporting much better weapons than they have here. So a clear indicator of the ramifications of letting Cloud9 deal damage. On top of that, Automatic using the AWP to just crack open the B site last round. So quickly doing so that Team Liquid didn't even have a chance to really rotate over. I mean, you know you're going to go for that jump peek every once in a while. And if you spot the Opper and he misses his shot, you don't do it again. But it's the fact that Automatic's first bullet out of the cannon is the one that drops Taco. And then the counter-terrorists can't seem to hold down Palace, even despite having their heaviest hitter up there with his op, which has now been robbed away. Flusha chucks it back and then hits the Glock shot into Twists because Twist didn't have enough money for the Kevlar helmet.
Oh my goodness!
The AK's another.
Look at him go, Flusha. It's a vintage performance from this man on different soil, but Automatic chiming in with another. This round's all said and done. Cloud9 going to be finding themselves a second. Taco left in a 1v4, and as much of a believer I am in this man, this is asking a little too much of him. So a convincing round here from Cloud9. Admittedly, Team Liquid didn't have the most heading into it, but the AWP on Nitro very, very quickly dealt with, and we're seeing some early signs of brilliance from Flusha, who are looking a little bit reinvigorated right now.
Yeah, looking great so far this map, but he could have had a completely different look this round because, as you said, Nitro posted up immediately inside of Palace. He had the scope in position. It's a matter of missing the shot, and it looked like it was off by maybe just a millimeter or so, but that is what makes the difference in the end. And then look what happens when Flusha's let loose. Tears up the dirt towards that A site. Bomb blowing up now, leaving Taco alive and Cloud9 with 4. That's certainly going to help them get this T side rolling. You guys can check out the cash, the coffers overflowing already. And Cloud9 looking to cut back the lead to an even keel. Should be made easy by the fact that it's not just the one op of Automatic kept this time, it's that one MP9, and size matters.
Well, size does matter a bit, Connor. It's also what you can do with it. And Taco is going to look to try and put this to good use early on. Right now, he's headed over here towards the B apartments with it, and there will be players coming his way, so he will be given a chance to put that MP9 to good use. Rush pushing down through mid. In the meantime, gonna now have the rest of the guys here. The bomb still left back in T-spawn. They're taking this slow. Not too keen on forfeiting too much the way of these pistols, the way of these ecoing players on Team Liquid.
Golden floating towards connector. We've got the catwalk walk from Rush. He's going to find Naf's contact, and, well, with the USP, he's just drawn into automatic scope, so doing a good job of using that sniper behind the line of Cloud9, and then moving forward once they have their pick. Little do they know, B open for the taking, and right now they are still going into the most precarious of positions. This A site, where Cloud9 will find 2 of Liquid's members, not to mention Nitro, who's still inside the window. So there's 2 quick frags to the favor of Liquid, but then once the positions are known, the jig is up, and the job done from Cloud9. They've left only Nitro with half his health and an AK-47. With the bomb plant on top of it, it is most certainly a 3rd round, but a little tip of the hat to Liquid here. Considering what they had here, Harry, they made the most of it.
Yeah, they were able to find a decent bit. Nitro's going to get away with this AK as well by the looks of things. It's one-man hunting, that's automatic. At the same time, a bit risky to send your AWPer out on the hunt here. Doesn't want to risk handing that over to Nitro because he would love to grab it. It's going to be a 3rd round anyway for Cloud9 here. And yeah, just been taking a look. As you say, it's not been the best of starts to the season for the Cloud9 guys. Sitting, I think, lower down than maybe most people would have expected. As you say, they had those losses versus LG just the other day, which certainly, I guess, weren't part of the plan. But there are going to be some teething problems within this team, you imagine, you know, with the changes, with the kind of atmosphere now as a result of Skadoodle only being a temporary thing.
Yeah, it's wild as well. I mean, yesterday, during those losses with Luminosity, Skadoodle was actually top fragging in one of the 2 maps. And I feel like that's kind of an indicator of the issues. Like, when your outgoing player is the one who's still performing well, it is a scary sign as to what may be to come. But, like you said, growing pains, of course. Now we're back to the gun rounds, and there is no AWP featured for Team Liquid, but it's not going to change the pace. Cloud9, they're going to charge forward immediately into the A site, taking it by storm, and while they've lost their contact in mid, they will still plant this bomb, but it's the retake which Liquid could use to still close the round. Elige getting into the gunfight prior to everybody being set up to push forward. Scott with 1, second, no. But Automatic certainly will cut a single player off CT spawn, so these defensive men on the retake are still split. Flusha with Automatic welcoming them in. However, Flusha has been cut off by the smoke. A flashbang could let Naf try and fixate at the kill versus Automatic, who's also smoked off. So Naf just looking for a duel, but the smoke's actually playing against him in the sense that he has no vision. And by the time he's arrived on the site, he needs to get on the bomb here and now, but he can do nothing further. So Automatic takes his life, and Cloud9 the lead.
Yeah, they say Smokey kills. That's going to be the demise of him in that round. 4-3. Cloud9 going to be sporting the lead here for the first time in this matchup. Off to a decent start. Man of the hour right now going to be, well, men of the hour, I guess, Automatic and Flusha. Very much having a good performance. Automatic sitting 10-2 right now. I like the steering wheel, maybe. Taking his driving lessons.
Yeah. 10-2? Yeah, 10-2.
Is that right? Yeah, I don't drive. You do, I'm just guessing at this point, mate. I've been driving 1 and 6. I mean, that'd be awful. Yeah, that just wouldn't work. Here's Taco outside of the B-bomb site, and he's got the Deeg in hand. He's going to have players coming his way up through short as well, and that's going to start to cause him some real problems here on the side of Liquid. Smoke's down over in mid as well. Nitro's going to try and peek on through it. It does dissipate and give him a little bit of vision, but he doesn't spot anything into middle. Doesn't want to risk hanging around either.
Yeah, Golden no longer feeling comfortable here. Wants to join forces and start moving this up cat. With ladder anchor. Oops.
Second time lucky, maybe?
Yeah, a little too excited there as he throws himself over the fence. But this is something that I like to see from Cloud9. Trying to minimize their mistakes, right? Even though they have now 4 rounds in a row, you're not going to want to sleep on Liquid. You're going to want to figure out where their sole pistols are placed. And now that you have a 5 versus 3, you can get a little more aggressive. Take a couple more chances, but there could still be a price to pay. Clearly, Taco cuts one away. and maintains the position near site. Now he's calling for the rotate over, and there's not anybody to cut them off, but unfortunately by the time the 2 remaining members of Liquid arrive, the rest of the men in sight have died. And Golden, well, he's happy to hunt the middle play.
Yeah, he's hanging around here now. This could be a gun handed over to the boys on Liquid, potentially, if they manage to find Golden. He's not going to give them much to work with, though. He's only on 11 HP, and so as they peek into him, there's an AK drop down in mid. They would absolutely love to get their hands on it. Even spotting an automatic. Twist going to go ahead and find him. That's the AWP dropped as well. This is becoming a very expensive round for Cloud9. Take a look at their money. Well, they might look golden right now. You do have a few players caught down low, and they're given a lot the way of Team Liquid. Flusher going to get taunted by Elige. It's Skadoodle out through top mid, who does successfully manage to drop the AWP. So Cloud9 picking up a 5th. And that Team Liquid grinding to a bit of a standstill. At least now they have a bye on the horizon.
Yeah, that most recent round is the equivalent as to what Liquid did in the 3rd, where they had themselves, you know, a nice big advantage with many players up, a closing round, but then these last-minute costs that kind of come out of nowhere. You know, the taxes and the administration fees. So Cloud9 obviously have to reinvest, but luckily for them, because it's been a spree of 5 victories, you can see there's still a bunch of cash left over. They're not in the same spot as Liquid. We saw what happened. The moment they lost a round, they were relegated down into the SMGs and upgraded guns. So Cloud9 weathering that storm, the economic one, quite well. Although, doesn't matter how much money you have, frag grenades still hurt. Half of Automatic's health cut short. And because of that, he'll change positions.
Yeah, an immediate thing to realize is you take a look at Cloud9 right now. They're all grouped up over here towards this B bomb site. They don't really have any control anywhere else on the map. They haven't been challenging for it. Team Liquid, as a result, have been given free roam of mid, for example. You got Elige there right now, kind of probing, seeing what he can find. They're playing reasonably passive over here towards this B bomb site, though. You have got Nitro with the AWP watching the cross. Very big shot for him to have to hit. As this push looks to come on in, the smoke splash is raining on through, and now this push from Cloud9, that initial shot from Nitro lands. Taco barreling through the smoke over here towards short, and Nitro here trying to hold back the tide of Cloud9. Elige even going to go through the smoke, and they're not ready for it. They're not keeping an eye on things, and with the AUG, Elige gets almost everything done. It's Flusher left in what was a 1v4, now turned 1v3.
He's wide, and he's cut down by Naf. So that's the secondary op of Liquid, trying to find itself some impact, and it'll do so at the end. I mean, a lot of that play actually does hinge on Nitro holding the cross. You can see the way that Liquid, as opposed to playing Taco towards the van, as we had previously seen, actually eject him towards Catwalk, and then, again, put the pressure on Nitro. So very crucial for him to get that opening kill. And what it also enables is for Elige to walk through that smoke as Flusha went the other way. Because of the execution from Cloud9, where the 2 smokes go down on Arch, what you're doing is creating a lot of uncertainty as a terrorist. Like, you're welcoming that push inwards. And if Flusha had control of short a little earlier, then maybe he finds that contact, Elige doesn't run forward, and we at least maybe get a bomb plant. But because all of these individual duels go properly, because Liquid can obscure the execution with an op posted, with a walkout through smoke, with a man inside the site, it all does end up going their way. So it's an easy reinvestment, but it is one that is kind of hinging on an economic reset. So be cautious, Team Liquid. You really can't afford to lose this round. And they wouldn't have been able to afford this double op setup, but they will still have it. And that's a good thing, because we saw it pay dividends in the previous round.
Yeah, this time Cloud9 going to be putting an emphasis on grabbing control of these lower tunnels. Naf is waiting as best he can on the other side of the vents here to try and spot them out. Now they do try and boost up into the window. You can't do that without paying the NAF tax, and that is going to be Golden getting dropped. As a result, Elige even going to find one more. Cloud9 getting picked apart limb by limb, but it's Rush to potentially get them back into this round. He's opened up this A bomb site. Elige is down in connector. Bomb plant comes through for Cloud9 here. Orb still out on automatic, and while it isn't planted in the best of spots, never mind, Taco might have just made this very, very possible now for Liquid. It's Rush in a 1v3 over here at the sandwich. You can't afford to make a meal of this one. They start to peek on into it. The nades even rain through to add insult to injury. Everything timed perfectly there from Liquid. And they'll be picking up this 5th round.
Yeah, two very crucial group fights that actually occur in this round are one on towards the bottom of middle, and then obviously the bomb site itself from Cloud9. And it's interesting because those two gunfights both go different ways. We see Nafly and Elige curb the enthusiasm of the window boost, knowing, of course, that with the player coming inwards, there had to be a second there. Elige didn't worry about the bomb site. He let his teammates who were within it try to hold back and do their job. But since they lost control of the site, he was then allocated with the retake. And it's very important that they win that mid fight on top of it. Had Liquid lost members there as well, then this is a Cloud9 round. But instead, it's all tied up. Team Liquid very quickly getting back into the game and very quickly moving forward with a lead, you'd think. It is just pistols for Cloud9. Although, it doesn't slow them down from playing a rapid pace. They immediately throw their bodies to the portions of mid, which are crucial for map control. Outside connector, the windowsill, for example. But Nafly's not letting them get anything more. He's had enough. Ooh. And the frag is fantastic. So just as they try to get in the window, Taco there to help. And poor old Golden and Rush have so much to do with so little to play with.
Yeah, it's just Golden left alive. Still, it's been a very expensive round for Liquid at the least. That's something that Cloud9 can look back on and think fondly of as a result of this round. Golden 1 HP and a dream. Now has to try and be the golden boy of Cloud9. No real sense in him looking to save this here. They're going to be buying up into the next. He certainly could do. Does have armor at least behind this, but he's going to go creeping forward for the time being. See if he can spot anything out. Taco and Naf both just playing so passively, keeping an eye on this bomb that's down in the base of mid. Setting up this crossfire, and now that smoke going to start to dissipate in window. Golden with 20 seconds left. I don't fancy his odds in this round, and now that he's got the AWP, he's just going to look to hold on to that.
Yeah, most certainly worth it. We've seen Automatic playing well tonight. We've seen Flusher playing well tonight, and those are the two players who have currently been picking up that AWP role. That's what actually makes me kind of curious, Harry, as to what Cloud9 are going to do with this roster change, because if I ask myself, like, are we seeing Automatic pick up the AWP with Flusha because one of those two players think they might take that role? If the plan for Cloud9 was to bring in a new primary AWPer, then you'd think Skadoodle would just keep that so that the team can continue building their roles around that dedicated AWP player. But it'll be interesting to see, of course. Their options so open.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what you think. Maybe we can save this for an eco, actually. We'll talk about what you think and your thoughts on the Cloud9 situation are in just a little bit. But let's take a look at this round now, given that it is a buy for both teams. Automatic, as you say, going to be donning that AWP now for the Cloud9 side. And Nitro, along with Naf, they've still maintained these over on the side of Liquid. Flashes over do allow Nitro to take that quick peek. He doesn't spot anything, at least not right away. It's a slow burning round from Cloud9. They're going to go ahead and re-smoke the window here. That would allow Skadoodle to creep on out of these lower tunnels, start to edge his way forward. Don't have to spot anything out right now. Automatic, he's about to get tested, and timing's everything here. That flash does miss its mark, and that Taco is to go running back through the Molotov. Doesn't lead to anything just yet. Team Liquid trying to exert some pressure in the apartments, and it doesn't transpire to all too much. Looks like Cloud9 have made their mind up, though. This A bomb site looks to be where they set their sights.
Ooh, nice little continuous spray down from Twists. It's Elige's helping hand that does strike down the second man. And the AWP of Nitro the third. Now we're going to get aggressive. Take control of the situation. Don't let Cloud9 walk back in shambles. Don't even give them anything to work with. Because the last time Cloud9 were in a 2v5, we saw the losses that it ended up costing them. So this time, the clean sweep. Team Liquid, 5 up, both their snipers now paying dividends, and I think that's really been a key piece of their success. These two sniper rifles, with the riflers also succeeding within them, have really started to shut down Cloud9.
Well, we have a bit of a partial buy coming in for the Cloud9 side. I'm curious, what do you think some of the avenues these guys might look to explore could be?
I mean, look, I think that if you had asked that question, say maybe 6 months ago, or when right after the major, if you wanted to make an improvement on Cloud9, I think that the most common answers would be like, you could add Cirque from NRG to Cloud9, or do you pick up Wardell from Ghost Gaming? But now I think that those two players in particular, who fit the role well, they have a really good thing going on with their own team, Harry.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you really want to offer that up? I don't think so. I think if you're those guys, you just stick to what you're currently working with, because those are teams that are succeeding at least here in ESL Pro League.
And I think another one that maybe a lot of people might have looked to when you think about, you know, the IGL situation, there would have been someone like Nifty, but now obviously he's just joined that Envious roster. So Cloud9 almost kind of, you know, missing the gun in terms of, you know, having all these potential pickups that they could have made, and now it feels like they're a little too late when it comes to finding that transfer. For me, maybe you could even look towards someone extremely young and unproven. Someone like, I remember Exotic from Splice last season. He looked pretty good, but I don't think you take that sort of risk is the one issue, right?
No. I think, and then now we run into this whole other group of problems too, where it's like there's already 2 Europeans on the team. So, you know, I think that if Automatic and Flusher want to do this op role, you could argue adding Kiyashima, you could argue adding Croman. But once you have 3 European players on this roster, you're no longer looking at the North American major, or minor rather, for the major circuit. So there's politics behind it, Harry. And we don't talk politics, okay?
No, we most certainly don't.
That's
the closest I've come to talking politics with you, Connor, was just moments ago when I said that I have the on-camera presence of Theresa May. And that's about it, you know, so... and that's just how it should be. Here's Elige over here in the window. He's going to go blow for blow with Golden, but Golden wins it out. So actually, man advantage gained here for Cloud9 and a crucial foothold secured by the Golden boy. As now they have control. The mid Nitro turns his attention down towards the connector, but this is a tall order. Luckily enough for him, he does have twists all the way up through Palace, so he can at least sleep easy in the knowledge that ramp is secure. He only has this one angle to worry about for the time being. In the back of their minds, maybe they start to think there could be players in CT, there could be players over here in mid and rush. He's already opened up onto Taco.
And another one. 2 beautiful headshots. And I mean, the first one, he almost kind of baits Taco in. Taco sees the gun barrel, thinks he has a head turned, and just as he walks forward, it snaps back onto him. So Cloud9, out of what seems like nowhere, seem to be walking away with a round with 5 players up. But it's not over just yet. And all these rounds, for the most part, come with a cost towards the end of things. And right now, if I'm Cloud9 as well, take a quick look at their money. I'm not offering up any more lives. Removing these weapons from Team Liquid isn't going to do too much. They have saved so many times, even with the double op setup, they'll be able to afford it in the next round. Even if all 5 of these members died, they could still pick up 1. 2, actually, if you forfeit all utility. So Cloud9, they call it quits. They recognize the fact that they need to keep all of their remaining members up to move into the final round. So a solid showing from Cloud9, I would argue. It's no easy feat taking Liquid to an 8 and potential 7 scoreline.
Yeah, this first game of the night getting off to a very, very close start in indeed. Split right down the middle at the end of this first half. And well, we get to see a decent bit of the org over here. The NA stream. I haven't seen it a little bit over on EU, but normally it feels more like a meme weapon. These guys putting it to good use. Sadly, Rush. He's going to go ahead and shut down the org before we get to see it spring to life. Twist is in with the return at the very least. Golden, though. Look at him go. He's all the way out from Palace. And okay, maps there. That could have spelled disaster, but the flash is good. And rotation comes in now from Twist. It's going to be Cloud9 setting up for this A bomb site, but they will be walking into the more stacked of the 2. And also, bear in mind, Nitro over in the shop. He's going to be pretty quick on the old rotation as they're playing that retake setup over towards B.
Right. And without all of the smoke grenades needed to blanket this bomb site, I do like the fact that Cloud9 aren't going to be trying to just put in a half execution, right? They're going to try something a little different. They're all, and I mean all, going to burst out from the Palace. They're going to go past Twist, and this gives him actually a fantastic spot. Despite the T's having utility, no one burns him out. And now it's Twist's time to pull the execution. 3 bodies down and a 4th one just above. He's going to have to switch to the sidearm, so he does drop in the end, but Nitro's over fast enough to seal the deal.
That's why you always got to rely on the chubby checker, because he's just going to twist again if you let him get to that one. It's going to be another round for Liquid, 9-6 at the end of this first half. As they do manage to finish things off with a slight advantage now heading in to the second half of this match. We've seen, I mean, what a impressive hold from Twist there. You know, the trigger discipline, you just sit there, hold off on firing right away. They sneak on by him, and as they do drop Naf down towards CT spawn. They believe it's clear. No one checks underneath scaffolding, and ultimately, that is their demise in that round.
Right, it's the fact that nobody checked it, but they also didn't use the utility they certainly had to try and burn that out. You know, I had just mentioned that without the smoke grenades, they're not going to go for that blanketed execution, but you still had enough utility to make something happen there. And an easy Molotov underneath Balk just means you don't have to check it, because if there's someone there, he runs out, and you get that confirmation on the fly. You know, it doesn't slow you down to throw that Molotov. You can still all just jump and then react to the movement if it's there. So just a missed opportunity towards the end of an otherwise great half from Cloud9. They've done a good job of at least going par for the course, but it's from here on out that I think things may get scary, because Team Liquid, as of late, Harry, in the Pro League most notably, they've been playing some really aggressive rounds at times. And they do slow it down, you know, in those pinnacle moments, those game-changing type situations. They always make sure that they walk away with an edge and they don't throw lives away carelessly. But at other times, when you see an opening like this, they'll all just charge in. Or when they smell blood in the water, they immediately pounce.
Yeah, like sharks or sea lions.
Yes.
I think sea lions are pretty aggressive, if I recall. Maybe they're not. I know there's something that's a bit like a sea lion that's aggressive. Probably should have just gone with sharks as the only example. I didn't need to. I've tried to. I've overcommitted to the metaphor, Connor. Here's the push about to come in towards this A bomb site. They're throwing in the smokes, the utility, everything. As they look to try and make this play happen, Rush is deep within CT, and he's got to try and make a stand. He's not smoked off. They've used their 2 smokes on the cross instead. The common strategy that we see happen in Rush with this USP, they close the gap now, and this is where it stops being so valuable. Flusher does what he can, but it's going to be him an automatic to claw Cloud9 back into this round. Golden's on a wrap round. Taco is watching it. And the outcome of this fight could actually decide the outcome of this round. Taco wins it, which he does. Now it's only automatic left up in a 1v3.
Coming in off of the connector, does have the smoke in the kit. Unfortunately for him, there's no way to get all these Liquid players to peek him, and so he's just going to have to fade away. And even then, Naf says otherwise. So Team Liquid, rapid pistol. They run into the A site, they just rapidly take down each player, whether that be towards Catwalk, Ticket, or even Elige, hyper-extending into the CT spawn. I mean, if he gets that duel versus Market, there's no way that Cloud9 managed the retake. Him dying still leaves them in a fantastic spot, but you see them kind of pump the brakes and cool things down. The end result is Cloud9 just going to be going into the absolute full save. The only thing spent here is $300 to get Skadongler is P250. And where's he put that? Well, right here on Catwalk, right in the face of where Team Liquid seemed to head. Nice attempt on the boost, but now that's 3 more players confirmed, because 2 of them have been spotted on jungle, and there had to be somebody to stand on in order to throw a player over the sandbags. So unfortunately for Cloud9, the info's all Liquids. However, it looks like they're just going to try to play the Congo line, trade effectively into the B site, not reroute. And that does potentially throw them into danger with how little HP they have, but they're doing a great job of still picking up all the pieces.
Yeah, it's only Golden left up, and you really don't fancy his odds here. 1v4. Likelihood is this doesn't happen, and Liquid do manage to find an 11th. Now, Cloud9, they've gone for the, you know, kind of the newer take on the meta, which isn't to force buy in on that second round on the CT side. Instead, you just flat out eco in this one. Then you get your buy into the third round. And personally, I mean, I've been a bit hit and miss, you know. I see this in EU as well. I'm always a bigger fan of, you know, if you're on the CT side, you still force buy second round. Because then when you do buy in round 4, you have all the utility you need. You can get the AWPs out. You can build into it properly. Mirage, I do think, is one of the maps where it doesn't matter as much, because the utility definitely feels like it's a little less important. There's more room for you to pressure. As the CT side, you can try and remedy that. And oh my goodness, look at these odds on the screen right now. The wonderful folks over at Betway clearly going to be Liquid are the very clear favourites here by the looks of things, but the scoreline's still reasonably close, and there's room for it to close on in now as Cloud9, they've found 2 openers in this round, already dropping Elige and Naf. Want 2 players to find as well. And on the back of it, the bomb's dropped up here at the top of mid. Flush is going to be sat on that all day long, like a mother hen to her eggs, and now it's just Twists and Taco left up.
Why does the mother hen have to watch the eggs? Why can't the father rooster watch the eggs?
You know what? That's a mighty fine point.
It's 2018, man.
I don't know the ins and outs of. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think chickens are quite there yet with the with the whole equal society thing.
Well, fingers crossed they catch up. You brought up sharks and you brought up sea lions. Do you know what? Oh, hold on. Flush is waiting for the back to be fully exposed. Nice spinal tap. That's extra cash. Money, money, money. But Launder's favorite sea animal is an otter. What's yours?
I don't know. I don't really have one.
Well, that's tragic.
That's my favorite sea animal. I've never really thought about it, but probably like, I mean, otters are pretty cute, but they're more like rivers, right? Otters don't really go in the ocean.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, water folk.
Water folk. What is that? That's like a whole different breed at that point.
Yeah. I like,
What's your favorite water folk?
tortoises because they live so long. Did you know
I thought it was
that
turtle
Steve
or something.
Irwin owned a land tortoise that once belonged to Charles Darwin?
That's wild.
That's how long it lives.
That's the most Steve Irwin thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, wild stuff. But it's also wild to me that Cloud9 walked away with a round so rapidly. You know, they took down both Elysian and Nafly in an instant. That was the two Krieg players for Liquid. And while the rest of the members still had guns, they got nothing really for it. So props to Cloud9. Very crucial for them to start off early on the CT side. They had 6 T rounds, but that's not really enough to be offering up a strong early start to Liquid when they had that 3-point advantage already. So let's see if, of course, Cloud9 can convert the points further. That's what's going to be just as crucial as getting on the board in the first place.
Yeah, back towards T-spawn at Team Liquid Go. I'm going to try and hit this A-bomb site. They haven't really found too much, but they have done a good job of baiting out this utility from Cloud9. You take a look at that now. There's one smoke, one Incendiary left. Incendiary is going to be on rush. So at least he can throw that in to try and delay this play. One important thing to note is Liquid have left themselves with plenty of time here at the very least. As they throw this utility in, that one Incendiary, they can't afford to wait for it to fade, but Rush doesn't even get it thrown out. Instead, he's going to fall almost immediately. Is good for one. Automatic getting pressured. Elige able to find a quick double in towards this A-bomb site. Suddenly, it is just Golden, Skadoodle, and Flusher left up through the smoke. Golden looks to make a 24-carat play. He's managed one. Taco going to be back in response. Does hop on down into the sandwich, and Flusher, I think the flashbang hit him to stop him moving there, and that'll be Twist finding it on the back. Skadoodle, he said he wouldn't get his paws on an AWP. He's been able to scavenge one from the deceased body of Automatic, but he doesn't get to hold it for very long. He takes it with him to the grave.
Yeah, that's a real shame, because when we finally do see him pick up an AWP, he's actually already in the last couple of weeks made some really nice plays with that. And Skadoodle continues to be one of the best clutchers on this team, so you want him in those types of moments. I remember Launders and I, we were casting a 1 versus 3 from Ska. It was the first time he picked up an AWP in the whole game, and he won the clutch. And we both shed a tear as the next round begun, and he just kind of passed it back to Flusha.
That's so sad.
It is, but
this is, can we get 10 likes?
keeps things rolling. Look at Scott's position this time. He actually gets himself amidst the push-up catwalk, and with him and his teammates nearby, they deal substantial damage to that first cohort of Team Liquid. Both Taco and Elige, one of which now dead, have really been put on the chopping block. But now Taco's just going to serve as an anchor. Even with 4 health, it won't matter because he doesn't have to really move. The rest of his team on the full bars are just going to do all the work elsewhere, the heavy lifting into the A-bomb site, where the bomb will actually have to reroute towards. Flusha clearly sees the price of picking up the AK-47. He's dropped to 48 health. This is Liquid with the 13th. Cloud9 are not going to be given many more chances. We said that getting on the board early was important with the CT side. Converting it to begin with, just as crucial. But now, since they've started to lose that advantage and lose control of this second half, I mean, Liquid, like I said before, blood in the water means that execution's inbound.
See, so we mentioned, you know, the water creatures, the water folk. I've been curious, Connor. You know, I've been researching my Scandinavian folklore while I've been out here. What's some Canadian folklore? To see this, we're on the NA broadcast. Do you know any of your mythical creatures?
I don't really think we have any. I mean, North America is pretty much just Bigfoot, right? We have lots of Bigfoot spottings in NA, but that's more kind of central United States. I'd want to say the Yeti, because that's just kind of like, you know, the snow Bigfoot, but the Yeti's European.
The snow Bigfoot. Fine, I've got ahead and just quickly throwing in. I'll ask you if you know any of these. What does this even say?
Yeah, me and Launders have realized it's very difficult using a computer that's in Danish.
There's the caddy.
Nope.
You ever heard of that? Wendigo?
Nope.
Yeah, well they're pretty terrifying. There's a team called Wendigo, obviously.
Yeah, the thing with like folklore and urban legends is normally that like you need a history.
What's that? I've seen that before.
That's
a water folk, the Thetis lake monster.
That scares me.
Yeah, well, you know, at least you don't live near Thetis. Is that a place? I don't know. Anyway, here's the push about coming towards me, Connor. We don't need to talk about folklore. We've got real history playing out right in front of us, and this is visible. Elige, he's going to be shutting down a couple of players inside of this B bomb site. He's cracked it wide open, and now we're into a 5v3 with the bomb down. Everything's seeming to go the way of Cloud9 right now. And automatic rush and golden. There's two MP9s like bouncers to the MVP that is automatic with that AWP. They're going to have to try and protect him and take this very, I mean, that's, you know, not really what you want to be saving out of this round.
Right.
But,
do you see what I mean when I say that, like, at a moment's notice, once Liquid kind of feel in control, that they'll just pick up that pace and start bullying? Because this round unfolds in like 30 seconds time.
I've, the last few days on the EU broadcast, we've seen a lot of Na'Vi, and they play a very slow, infuriating style of Counter-Strike. It's nice to see a big change of pace. Liquid, a team that's really not afraid to go on the back of these openers. And actually, that was very nice from Rush. I don't know if you saw that. He threw the gun back to Golden, then managed to just like sneak his way through that smoke and find another AK. So they send him out, and that actually means they get out of that round with
3 primaries.
Yeah.
He's double dipping. Picking up all the guns. And that's a crucial situation for him to do so, because this is going to be the last chance they have at denying overtime secured for Liquid. And if Liquid pick up that 15th, we're talking 8 map points, which is not going to be looking good for Cloud9. So solid T start, but then once they've swapped over, we've just had a complete and utter dismantling of Cloud9. And this isn't the first time, Harry, on the NA broadcasts where we get these kinds of situations. A nice close start, which is then followed with just a blowout in the final 15 rounds. But Nafly, with a smoke in his face, will change spots as Automatic picks up the opening kill.
Yeah, it's a good start for Cloud9. Probably one of the best we've seen them have for quite some time. Now, hiding in this smoke on the ramp is going to be Golden. And he has Rush with him. Able to hold back this initial push from Team Liquid, but the tides are changing and twists, pushing on out in towards middle now. Kind of secure a foothold here for Team Liquid at the very least. And we get to see the ghost of Naf's past there as he's making his way over here towards the apartments. 3 players grouped up in this position, and they're going to try and run the gauntlet. Skadoodle and Flusher inside of this B bomb site, but they are the most under-equipped players on the team for Cloud9. This is the perfect scenario for Liquid to reach match point.
Yeah, but Ska may have just spotted them. Now he definitely does. Look at the way Taco's just going to try and run forward here, gunning him down. Flusha does manage to use the scout for a single kill, but then he's taken over the shoulder of Skadoodle, who's still within the site, running around rapidly, just mowing them down with that MP9. And then once he upgrades into the AK and his teammates get into position, well, that's fine. He sits like a goose in the back of van and waits for the round to be delivered.
Yeah, he might be retired, but he's no geriatric old man inside of that bomb site. He's running around nimble as ever.
I'm glad you brought up Canadian folklore. Of course, the loup-garou.
I didn't. Yeah, I just this one sounds really interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you get punished by it. I was reading just quickly. This is how mental it is. You get punished because you haven't fulfilled your religious duties 7 years in a row. That's fair enough. You've been lazy. But the other reason is for planting potatoes on a Sunday. You get turned into a werewolf.
I mean, if you plant potatoes on a Sunday, you're just asking for trouble.
What does that mean? What's the issue?
I don't know. I'm not.
Is this like a common law throughout? I mean, I don't think it's a law. I think it's more. It's folklore. That's got some.
It probably was a law when we weren't secular, but we said we wouldn't get political, so we'll leave it there. Loup-garou is actually just the translation of werewolf, but in French Canada, loup-garou is also a specific creature.
Right.
So there's a little bonus fact for you.
Yeah, almost as mighty as another Canadian creature, the Gene guy. But Golden over here in Connector, he's going to go ahead and start to back away. He did spot that man and did some damage onto him in the form of Taco. Now Flusher looking up to the task over here on short. He's going to try and keep an eye on Connector. Liquid very dedicated to seizing control of this portion of the map. The smoke's down at the top of Connector, so they get everyone in here. Now they've smoked short as well. That's going to cut off Flusher, so we're looking towards the other Swede in this team to try and shut down Team Liquid. The flash is there, and everyone's confused, but they finally find Golden. Skadoodle was the savior in the previous round, and he looks to be it once again as between him, Rush, and Flusher, they lock in a 9th round for Cloud9.
Yeah, that's just good positioning, right? You see Team Liquid trying to pincer into the A-bomb site, utilizing connector, throwing their way through Palace, but with Cloud9 having that presence just outside the connector entrance near the stairs, and with their ability to just kind of play in that close proximity of the smoke, they do a really good job. They pick up those kills kind of on an individual basis at times, but then once it started unfolding for Liquid, it all became unraveled. And it did so pretty quickly. And this round, well, might be just as fast. Why? Because we've got ourselves some upgraded pistols with Kevlar just behind it. It's going to be Ska tested here towards the B-bomb site. He anticipates the window jump up, and that's an excellent multi-frag from him. He even gets a third. He has been so fantastic in those high-pressured situations, even despite using the M4A1S. I think I'm going to go home and change guns.
Yeah, he's really making a good case for it right now. I keep seeing but then I put it on and then it's awful. Like, I try and use it, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm really inspired. I've seen the great guys using it in Pro League. I put it on, you know, the first guy comes away, you kill him, then you got 4 bullets. It's like, oh, never mind, this is all over. But look at Skadoodle, this is absolutely monstrous. His performance inside of this B-bomb site has been a real high point for Cloud9 in this game. They're 10-14 now, slowly but surely clawing their way back into this. And over on Liquid, the man stepping out right now is Twist, but the question becomes how much more energy has he got to give? How much longer can he keep this up? Because he's been the real man making a difference in this team right now. No one else having the same sort of impact. We're going to need to see a more team effort, I guess, from the Liquid guys.
Yeah, seems like they really want to fixate on that B site, though. It's been a consistent trend, and this time it's going to be that cat split as well. We've seen this work for Liquid, in fact, because once they get that entry, Skadoodle's positioning is completely countered. Think of the way last round when they come out apps, that he is anticipating them by being just beneath the apartments. But once you get cat control, you can't hold that position. You have to hide behind something. And look at this from Liquid. Just a complete clean sweep in the 25th round. And that's going to give us 5 map points for Cloud9 to try and work with.
Cloud9, though, they do love... That's a great smoke. Be sure to learn that one. But, yeah, I mean...
Cloud9 it's too advanced for you to understand.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. It's just the... Yeah. It stops the impossible boost, as it's so often been called, you know. As I was saying, Cloud9... They absolutely love these impossible comebacks. You know, you want to cast our mind maybe to a brighter time for this Cloud9 roster. You think back to the Boston Major. You think back to the impossible things that these guys have done when it comes to these ridiculous comebacks. That said, you know, nostalgia probably getting the better of me there.
Yep.
It's a very different roster to the one that took home a major title. And, well, Liquid going to be setting up the smokes and flashes to get into this A-bomb side. They're going to try and crack the defense of Cloud9 one last time. Rush from within CT. Can he stand tall?
Well, Automatic does shave it down by at least 1 player, but it is Twist. We mentioned him being a big playmaker so far for Team Liquid. How long can he go, we ask? Well, at least 1 round further. But now he's giving cover to Nitro, who does manage the bomb plant, and puts us in a 4v4 where Cloud9, sure, they've got some mid-footing. They have window under control and a player inside connector, but this is what they wanted. They needed to find Nafly. With him gone, you can just fixate on the site. Now the retake can truly begin, and oh, has it ever. But it's trading back and forth, and it all falls onto Automatic. He needs this last shot in order to keep it rolling. Nitro ready, and he hides back behind the box. Flashes just to buy time and anticipates the walk-up. There you have it, folks. The 16th from Liquid, and 32 health the difference. Mirage is theirs.
Yes, it most certainly is. Cloud9, in spite of their best efforts, couldn't quite haul their way back into that game. Liquid managed to close it out. Fantastic performance from them. There's still a second map, though. There's still more CS action and the analyst desk yet to come after a break.
Of course. Very much excited to see if Twist can continue the success that he actually managed here on Mirage, because that was quite the showing. He had teammates around him and some nice fast rounds from Liquid. Let's see if that keeps up as we move into map 2. We'll see you guys in just a bit.